Hi there. This is virtual Loscon, as you can see by my fancy scroller there. We're here with Dr. Gregory Benford, Jeff Sturgeon, who is our artist guest of honor, and Dennis and Kristine Cherry, who are our fan guests of honor.
Right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. What kind of fanning do you mostly do now?
As in?
The fan guest of honor, I mean.
Oh, the fans. They've actually been running our blood drive for how many years now?
31 years.
That's fine. Yeah.
31 years.
Since Timeline was alive.
Oh, and you don't get out of it just because you're fan guest of honor either.
Well, you live forever because you're a vampire.
Yeah, there you go.
Through thick and thin. Are we supposed to say something to elaborate on that?
Well, right now, there's actually nobody to talk to about you guys. I know a lot about Dr. Benford mostly because, oddly enough, he is the writer who wrote the first adult book I ever read. Adult science fiction book. Yeah, Deeper Than the Darkness.
Oh, my first novel. Yeah, with the Kelly Frias cover.
Yes.
And then I got an enraged call from Harlan Ellison saying, "Don't you know I used that title in the short story in 1953?" The right answer was no. So in fact, when I got an offer to bring it out in hardcover, I changed the title to The Stars in Shroud.
Right.
But the Kelly Frias cover was really terrific, I thought. It's used as an example of pulpy SF covers. It's in a Wikipedia entry about that.
Yeah.
Little did I know.
I couldn't add material for The Stars in Shroud?
Yeah, I added about 30% more wordage. Dave Hartwell came to me about, I don't know, 5 years after it came out and said, "Hey, I'd like to bring that out in hardcover. I can guarantee you a book club edition." And all the, so I expanded it because I had been limited. How often does this happen anymore? To 60,000 words by Don Wall. And he said, if you write more than that, it just means I have to cut out some things. So I stuck to it. But I mean, how many times do you ever get a ceiling anymore on a contract? Meanwhile, the most recent contracts I have for Simon & Schuster and Tor required that the novel be at least 120,000 words.
Right. 2 novels now to make up just one.
Yeah, that's what's happened to novels. Doom was considered to be a really unusually long novel, and it was something like 140,000 words or something, which is not a big deal anymore at all.
Right.
In 1965 it was.
Yes, that's right. It's strange.
I tried to read it in 1969 and I bounced.
Yeah. The weirdness is that our attention spans are plainly shorter, otherwise we wouldn't have Twitter. So why are the novels so long?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, think about that. I mean, TV commercials are over before they begin.
Almost.
Novels never end.
You think it might have something to do with attention span, maybe?
I do know that the price point on novels has changed enormously when they stopped being mostly brought out in paperbacks. So the price point for hardcovers is well over 100,000 words now. That's where you get the maximum return for a given sales number.
Right.
So this kind of economic calculus has more to do with it than editorial preference.
You're still paid by the word?
Not for novels, no. No, my novel contracts are typically about $100,000, and that's roughly how many words I write. So it's about that much. Yeah.
About $1 a word. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, $1 a word. Why not? I mean, look at all the money I'm wasting right here now talking to you.
Yeah, really.
Don't count it.
Right. It's a strange universe. Publishing is so strange and so dilapidated, particularly in SF. I mean,
my son, who loves science fiction, seems to be a non-reader.
Well, he's a millennial, right?
Hmm?
millennials not only don't read, there's a theory that they can't.
Oh, I know he can read. I made sure of that.
I mean, really read. I don't mean you can make your
Oh,
speed signs.
yeah, I understand what you mean. Yeah, no, he actually can and knows how to read and to enjoy a novel. He just doesn't do it.
I have 18-year-old twins who both read, luckily, but they've been going to conventions since they were 4 months old. And,
Well, so's mine.
Okay. Are they identical twins?
Yeah, we watched
no,
them
they're
grow
not.
up.
Oh,
No,
well,
they're-
yeah, they don't really count. I'm an identical.
Yeah, but they both love to read.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you were a twin.
I'm an identical twin.
I lost everybody.
Oh, we haven't lost you.
Well, he's not moving anymore.
The
There we go.
Oh,
You're
there
back.
yeah, I'm an identical twin. My twin brother also has a PhD in physics from UC San Diego.
Surprise.
We talk every day.
I can imagine. Yeah, we have people coming.
We helped put on the first SF convention in Germany in 1956 in Wetzlar,
Wow.
and first SF Con in Texas in Dallas in 1958.
Yeah, that was the year I was born.
Wow. I was as well.
Yeah, and so we learned very early to never put on a convention.
I haven't learned that yet.
All these cons were fewer than 100 attendees, by the way.
Gotta
Well,
start
this is
somewhere.
This is my fourth Loscon. Yeah.
Oh, gee, I've been to at least 30 or 40.
Well, no, this is the fourth one I've chaired.
Oh,
I
that's right.
started attending Loscons in '93. Actually, I started working Loscons in '93.
Well, it's nice to be a chair, but when are they going to give you a table?
But,
Well, after Michelle and Crystal's work on this one, I think that's my table.
Yes.
Their legs, the whole thing's standing on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loscon really, in the grand old days, remember when it was in Pasadena?
Oh, yeah.
There were well over 1,000 people.
It's gone from about 1,500 down to, it hovers around 1,000 to 1,100. We've had a couple that went under 1,000.
It's always been really consistent that way.
Yeah. Many of them you never see. They're sequestered away playing games.
yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
And that still is true, actually. Is a lot of the younger people are in the game rooms.
Yeah.
Because we've
Right.
added electronic gaming.
Right. Yeah, we don't have enough costumers anymore.
Yeah, that is a sad thing.
We've lost a
We do
few
up
really
here
good
in Northwest.
If you get a chance,
Northwest Con up
for a
here.
video, I actually cosplayed a character from No Man's Sky.
Oh,
No Man's Sky is a really great game. I'm having a lot of fun with it.
What character?
Oh,
What
just a
character?
traveler. Just a traveler.
huh.
Our Northwest conventions have big costuming going on up here.
Yeah, that's because they needed a lot of more clothes than we do. I mean, BossCon's in February.
Rain clothes.
You can die just going outside.
I believe it.
I mean, that's why we're all here, right?
Well, certainly why I'm here. My mother got tired of the snow and dragged me to California.
From where?
Denver.
Oh, that's not so bad.
No, I like Denver. It's a great place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I turned down a chair at MIT because I knew what the winters were like, having spent a sabbatical leave there. Just didn't want to do it. I mean, you know, dreary, cold, depressing, and that's just the people.
I should have seen that coming.
Yeah,
Like-
I've been going to college recently, and I've got a dozen colleges on the East Coast wanting me to transfer there, including Columbia. And no, there's snow there.
Why did they want you? What do you do?
Actually, it's because I'm carrying a 4.0 GPA, and
Really?
it's in communication, well, radio, television, film.
Huh. Yeah, avoid that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I never wanted to be in a university in the East. I always wanted to go West. Uh, the East didn't appeal. After all, I'm from Southern Alabama, where we actually get our warmth, honestly,
Yeah,
without
I
burning
spent some time
fossil
in northern.
fuels.
Spent some time in northern Alabama. I actually liked it there too. I was up in
Huntsville.
Anniston,
Oh, yeah, I'm from
U.S.
Fairhope.
Army Chemical Corps.
I know where it is. Yeah, I grew up in Fairhope, across the bay from Mobile, the hometown of Forrest Gump, where those novels are set.
Ah,
Written by a friend of mine, Winston Groom, who was killed by the virus 2 months ago.
Oh man,
Oh,
He was
I'm
a good
sorry to
writer.
hear that.
He told me that he made more money than the movies and the book by leasing the rights to Bubba Gump's seafood house chain. Yeah, which I've never eaten in.
Yeah, they have one up here. It's up at City Walk. Expensive because it's at City Walk, but the food is actually pretty good.
Wow.
They have a hot jambalaya, but unfortunately, it's the least hot jambalaya I've ever had.
mm.
The one in Denver is very good.
Huh. I'll have to try it. I mean,
I haven't been back to Denver in a while.
because I grew up in a family that operated fish boats, shrimp boats, and group of cons. And so I'm very used to that. And the seafood was free. So we ate it every day. Eat enough seafood, you live forever. That's our theory.
I guess so. I hope so.
Right. Yeah.
we have a lot of it up here.
Oh yeah, I'm jealous of Jeff. He gets to go fishing for salmon all the time.
Where?
Local rivers,
Local
He's
to
up in
what?
Seattle.
local to Seattle.
Oh, well, sure. It's easy there.
Yeah, I know. That's one reason I'm up here.
I used to live on the Sacramento River up in Red Bluff, and we got to go salmon fishing there, but we only got to catch the ones that made it through the fish ladder.
Right.
I grew up in Reading.
Huh.
Yeah, I went up to Reading a few times for animal shows. Living up there, you get to learn how to judge animals.
Right.
It's not a lot of fun.
I was just talking to Greg Bear, and he said, he's been fishing off his back porch because he lives on a lake north of Seattle.
Right. Yep. Yep. I've been to his house.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's fine. I prefer to pay people to get my fish now because I worked on those boats.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fish Talk at Virtual Loscon 47.
All right.
You degraded to this. No.
It could be worse. We could be talking about soccer
Oh, God, yes. All this
Don't
stuff
do
about
that.
or
Soccer.
baseball, even worse.
I did FIFA soccer at EA for 5 years, so I got really tired of soccer.
I did too. I used to play it some, but I was also a coach for a team. I played in Germany. The interesting way they have there, they're a lot more polite than the Mexicans.
Really?
In Germany, you're fined by the umpire for real money if you call out an obscenity or an insult. Well, of course, this was a long time ago. Different convention.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it's how I learned a lot of obscene Spanish in Laguna Beach.
Yeah. I used to
Treat
work.
everything as an educational opportunity.
Yes.
In one way or
When
another.
Irvine lived in, where was it? Not Costa Mesa, north of there, Santa Ana.
Oh, right.
One of our audience members would like to hear more about Jeff's anthology project.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What is it?
Speaking of Denver, it's called Last Cities of Earth. In fact, I have a copy of the Kickstarter edition.
What's the name again?
Last Cities of Earth.
Oh, Huh.
It's a project I thought up several years ago based on a painting I was doing at a demo at a convention, and it's a floating city. And I got to world building, trying to figure out why this city was up in the air. And long story short, I came up with a world that a whole bunch of writers have written stories in, including David Gerald, Kevin Anderson, Steve
Huh.
Perry, Mike Resnick, last story, and a bunch of other people.
What does keep it
And
up?
we, pardon me?
What does keep it up?
What was that? Yeah. We ran a big Kickstarter campaign, which funded in 48 hours, and which is the edition I just showed you. And then Kevin's company, Wordfire Publishing, Wordfire Us, is going to release the commercial edition in late spring or April, May, June, somewhere. And it's got 14 original stories. Pardon me?
What keeps the city suspended?
This here's the pitch. Let's put it that way. In 2085, scientists announced that Yellowstone will erupt in 6 years based on a computer model. In 2085, by that time, anti-grav technology has been developed by the military and then transferred over to civilian use. Long story short, countries around the world built cities of various sizes, lift them up into the air to trap solar energy when the volcanic nuclear winter descends around the earth.
Huh.
And we jump forward 2 or 3 centuries, and what has happened in these cities that have been cut off for decades, years. There are airships that slowly connect with lost cities and develop trade routes, and they use the ruins and the salvage on the ground to help fuel the economy of these floating cities.
I see. Good.
And then I talked to Kevin about it. He's an old friend of mine. And he's been the driving force behind this in a lot of ways. And I started painting a bunch of city paintings.
Yeah, I think we lost Jeff.
I think we lost him.
Yeah.
It happens. That is the one drawback of internet meetings. You can just disappear from them and nobody will notice until they realize you're not moving.
So Denver is so after that Mile High Con is 2 Mile High Con.
Or more. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Oops, and we
there we go.
will get him later. I guess he's dropped. And
Oh, I'm back.
He came back.
oh, there he is.
How high in
So
altitude?
where did I drop off?
Couple of centuries later, the cities are beginning to establish trade routes with each other.
Huh.
Right.
Oh boy.
How high are they?
Oh boy.
How high
Again?
are the cities?
He's frozen again.
You've got a
what
data
time-
rate
Time
problem.
checked. Yeah.
Yeah, he's either got a data rate problem or just a bandwidth.
Okay.
Well,
I'm
it's
gonna
the
have
same.
to edit this.
Yeah.
No one wants to see this. Oh, there he is.
Hello. They're about 8 to 10 feet at the base.
8 to what?
8 to 10,000 base,
Yeah,
and they go
that's
on up into the.
That's
How
the
do they
height of
breathe?
the upper Sierras. Right.
So they're
Yeah, now-
they're pretty high up.
I actually know I can breathe at that altitude, but I don't know that too many other people can without assistance.
I own 2 properties at that altitude in Mammoth. 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
But most people can operate all the way up to about 10,000, but they're having trouble there, and almost nobody can operate above the height of Mauna Kea, which is about 14,000.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
I
a
was
problem.
born in Denver, 3rd generation born in Denver, and apparently that adapted me to high altitude because when I went into the Air Force, they tested me to see how high I could go without oxygen, and they got me up to 11,000 feet.
Well, sure. Well, Denver's at 5,000 feet about, isn't it?
Denver's at 1 mile.
Yeah.
And I
That's
was 3 floors above
5,300
that.
feet. Yeah,
5280.
right. It's good for endurance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said my lung capacity was about triple normal,
Huh.
which is about half of what a Sherpa can go to.
Yeah. Jerry Purnell, on the other hand, was even more. He was the loudest person I ever knew.
Yeah, this is true.
I can confirm that.
Right.
Yeah, it was nice when we got a clubhouse with a much bigger front room.
Right. Yeah, there's strange stuff going on with altitude. It has some positive effects, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's not clear why.
I haven't heard anything.
The longer live people in the historical record all live close to sea level, like Marie Clement, who lived in southern France and died at the age of 122.
Wow.
Wow.
She sold pencils to Van Gogh when she was a girl. It was the same town that he died in. And she said her only memory of him was that he was very rude and very smelly.
Yeah, well.
A lot of memories of him and Larry walking around.
Oh, Jerry, yes, right.
Larry and Jerry, yeah.
That's certainly
I
true.
don't remember Larry and Van Gogh going anywhere.
No, hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Jerry happened to have been in the Korean War in a unit that was commanded by my father in the Korean War.
Oh, wow.
Long shot.
Yeah, well, he was artillery, right?
Yes, right. Except my father was one of the field officers from MacArthur. And of course, my father had been in the Second World War. He later commanded the DMZ in Korea.
Oh, wow.
So all these strange connections to science fiction.
Yes.
Well, just down the river from my grandmother's house, south of Fairhope, Alabama, was the guy who drew the Buck Rogers comic strip.
Huh.
Who knew?
There are really only 42 people in the world, and they all know Dr. Benford.
Yes, and I'm trying to forget quite a few of them. Yeah, true.
Bunch of people with no video, and then Jeff's back.
Right. That's right. I was in some place where people were saying, "Who's the most important person you ever knew?" And I said, Stephen Hawking.
Well, yeah,
That's a
I
good
suspect
answer.
you would know him.
Yeah, quite well. I once had dinner at King's College when I was a fellow at Cambridge with Stephen Hawking, Dirac, who invented the electron-positron theory, and Martin Rees, who later became the head of the Royal Society. That was where I learned that you learn a lot more, if you keep your mouth shut.
Yes.
A lesson seldom learned by many we know.
Yes, this is true, unfortunately.
Right.
Maybe next time they call for a Loscon chair, I'll keep my mouth shut.
Wisdom is silence.
You've learned.
We'll see about that.
My friends won't let me try it again. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I may escape. Another question from the audience. So what inspired Dennis and Kristine to start the blood drive at Loscon? And maybe we can extend this into your, his fan history and fandom. How'd you find us?
Okay. Well, let's see. Back in my mid-20s, more or less, I remember reading an article in Starlight Magazine by David Gerald where he talked about blood drives and Highline and that little connection. Like, oh, that sounds like a good thing to do. But I was kind of shy of needles, so I didn't really do it yet. But then one day, my dad all of a sudden didn't feel well, and he started throwing up blood. So we rushed him to the hospital. Ambulance came. The doctors looked in his stomach. He had a bleeding ulcer, and they said, "We're operating now." And so, that's pretty scary when they tell you your dad's being operated now. No waiting, now. And so he was losing a lot of blood, and that's when I made my first blood donation. I was really nervous, but I was determined to do it, and my mom was by my side. And there's a doctor, just walked in and just kind of talked me through it. And that's basically when I started. After that, I started donating regularly. And that was before I got married. And then when Chris and I were members of the USS Alliance, we knew that a lot of science fiction conventions had blood drives and Loscon didn't. So we as a club, I brought it up to the club, hey, let's host a blood drive. So we with the USS Alliance hosted the blood drive for a number of years, I don't know, 6 or 7. Eventually, the fan club, we were a Star Trek fan club, we all moved on, the club disbanded, but Chris and I continued it on from there on, and we've been doing it ever since.
Because nobody else wants to do it, not at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's fairly easy, you just give us a room, give us some advertising, and we'll take care of the rest. We've got, our own volunteers, most of which are still from the USS Alliance. We picked up Liz on the way. She donated at our blood drive. We became friends, and now she's one of our regulars.
She donated, I think it was a Gallifrey.
I think it was Gallifrey, yeah.
We did a couple of Gallifreys before they got too big for their britches. Too big for the hotel because they needed every inch of space. So we kind of get crowded out of Gallifrey, but we've always done Loscon, and we come to the con committee meetings, and we just basically say, give us a room, give us tables, give us chairs, get out of our way. And
I don't think a chair has said no in a while.
Yeah, it's one day of hard work, and then we get the rest of the con.
Yeah, and our volunteers are amazing. They've seen it all. They have some wonderful stories to tell. They bring us the most amazing snacks, and I have to give a plug for Mike Sheffield's brownies. Are amazing.
We look forward to those every year.
They're to die for. They're so wonderful. So
he makes regular ones and ones with no sugar in them.
Yeah.
Is there any limit on the blood alcohol content?
I think they prefer 0.
Yeah, this is the limit, right?
I produce 0.
0.
We'll start in the morning and then go upstairs to the bar.
Yeah. Once you donate, you're free to drink as much as you want.
It's not advised, but
I have never actually been able to donate blood, even though I've tried many times.
Why?
Well, I've either had a fever.
That bad, yeah.
Or, yeah, they would take me.
If you're incubating something, they don't want you.
And once I had a chance again, I was diabetic and I was on so many drugs that they didn't want me.
Yeah.
Oh, you actually have to tell them your drugs?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's a list of deferral drugs that you read through.
Yeah, because they're gonna be in your bloodstream.
Yeah.
So whoever you give that donation to, you're giving them your drugs, and if that's not compatible with what they're currently taking, they run into problems. So
my father was a regular donor, and he would was a big vitamin and guy. He called himself the shaman of vitamins. And a cousin of mine had a baby that was not thriving. They got 1 unit of my dad's blood into him. The little kid perked right up. So this can work in your favor.
Yeah. Well, the biggest reason for our deferrals are because of low iron.
Yeah.
So we already say
I got deferred for that.
Broccoli, fish.
For years, especially the women, they always seem to be just a couple of points, below the minimum iron count, and it only takes being below it 1 point.
Yeah.
So the last couple of years, we've been pushing, like a month before. Come on, ladies, go in there and get that iron in you, because it's going to be a waste of time coming by. If,
whiskey has a lot of iron in it.
No, really, no.
Oh, have you tried it?
I Googled it.
Yeah, right.
But
Sure.
ooh, postmenopausal. You know, I just suddenly realized I could try this again because I keep getting dinged on iron count, but I bet it's fine now.
Yeah, try it. We'll
Yeah.
always accept you.
Yeah.
I would if I were there. But as a blood donation experience, it's awesome because you guys get the best cookies, the best snacks, and great perks. People donate books and
Oh yeah.
stuff. And what kind of stuff do you do for giveaways for this?
When I was in the military, it was you get out of duty for a day. So everybody wanted to give blood.
That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that works. That works at Loscon. No, I'd
No.
still have
No.
to go upstairs.
Yeah.
So what goodies?
You would have gotten for a perk?
Oh, we always have the fish balloons. That became a tradition. We started making our cookies because when we started, the Red Cross would have these terrible cookies.
Oh, they were awful.
They were like
Yeah.
packaged like Mother's cookies, but an off-brand.
Yeah.
And so we said
were not
we
good.
can do better than this. So we started making our own cookies. Now they have cheaper stuff.
Dennis, you should tell about the fish balloons because we didn't always do them, and people may not know,
Oh, okay.
that are new.
I used to give big heart-shaped balloons. They're like 16, 18-inch heart shapes.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. And then one year I ordered them because I was low and it didn't come in time. But at the same time, I had been to a balloon store and I picked up the catalog and they had a picture of fish balloons. Oh, that's easy. I can make that. So once I ran out of hearts, I started making the fish balloons. After that, nobody wanted the hearts anymore.
Yeah.
So it's an oval and like fish body, and then the long
With the
balloons
tail,
made of
the
fins
eyes.
and things. They're adorable.
They
Thank
caught
you.
on, and there's been a couple of years we had a zombie blood drive, so all the ones we did had the eyes upside down with little X's with a marker on them, and
That's probably my favorite.
that was his most
I remember that. I remember that.
favorite was.
I think at Gallifrey we did one with bow ties. Fish had bow ties.
Oh yeah. Well, you have to,
Yeah.
Doctor Who, of course.
So we change up when we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I did art, all of the Doctor Who stuff sold. It wasn't Doctor Who related. They didn't want it.
Huh.
Interesting.
We also did Blackfish and Whitefish for Spy versus Spy.
Oh
theme for our
yeah.
blood drive.
Yeah. In a couple of years we did blood sucking lawyers, but that
Yeah.
got old. And
Yeah. They do.
but yeah,
Yeah.
the Spy versus Spies are cute.
Lair of the Lawyers, we did that one year. Lair of the IRS Agents, the real bloodsuckers.
Yeah, I cosplayed one of Coppola's Dracula brides one year.
And then we started tying our theme to the Loscon theme.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and then we
So
had
this
belly
year
dancers.
it's going to be science. I mean,
Putting the science back in
Fish or
science, not
science.
back in science fiction, just putting the science in science fiction. It's always been there. It's just
Yeah.
and the fan in fantasy.
Exactly. Larry Niven and I are working on trying to bring in a couple of the artists that we've used in our novels together. Don Davis, the astronomical artist, and Brenda Guerre, who did the other art in the third book, Glorious. And then I want to try to see if we can get to come the mini space artists that live in California but don't come to Loscon and put their art in the art show.
I keep hoping Aldo will show up, Aldo Speroni.
Yes, and others, there's so many who are within an easy range of LA, who live in Arizona, Northern California, so forth. And there's always Rick Sternbach, of course.
Yes.
Rick was my mentor.
Yeah. And Don Davis lives in the high desert.
Yeah, Don's a friend as well. So
Right. And Don Dixon lives in Long Beach.
he's another friend. We all know each other.
We ought to be able to pool all the roughly astrological or astronomical rather artists and some science people they've worked with.
I smell an Astronomicon coming.
Those.
Mm.
Pardon?
Said I smell an Astronomicon coming where we get
Yes,
nothing but
exactly.
astronomical artists together for a convention.
We've got all these people, we've just never pulled them together. And I think by putting a lot of their work in the art show, you'll really change the equation because a lot of their art sells very well.
Yes.
I know when I come down, Rick and Aldo both will come to the show.
Right.
That's good.
I've forgotten, have we ever showed at Loscon the film now available on Amazon with all the paraphernalia attached on Chesley Bonestell? It was made by a guy who lives in Palos Verdes.
I don't know.
Great film.
We could have him come and show the film and some of these sidebars, because there are 12 sidebars on the film now. It was shown at Worldcon in San Jose, but without all the side information.
Yeah.
So we can pull that in too. The whole big thing is for sale on Amazon now for like $30 or something.
I'm gonna have to go look for that.
And of course, there's lots of Bonestell that's been collected by people in the LA area.
Okay. According to this, it was shown last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. He's got a whole lot of ancillary stuff on the disc that he hasn't shown in public. I mean, Bonestell did a whole series of paintings in the 50s on the nuclear weapons.
Oh, yeah.
The famous one is where you see the crater after an H-bomb goes off over Manhattan. That has a lot of fans.
Imagine it would.
I have Chesley's art book right there in that bookcase.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice theme for a con, because I don't know of any con that's ever done it that way.
No, I don't think so.
Well, the IAAA, which we all belong to, the Astronomical Artists Association, they throw their own space con every year.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the LA area.
Maybe we need a fan run. Wait, never mind. I'm not going to get into this because I'll wind up running the damn thing.
Yeah.
If you ever suggest something, Scott, you should have learned by now.
Yeah.
Right.
I almost wound up running a history con.
You can see back on my wall back there, you see the Right Stuff poster.
Oh, yeah.
The upper corner back there.
Actually, you know, JPL has a bunch of artists on its staff who do art for NASA.
Wasn't Aldo on their staff?
No, not now. He works for a airplane company. I've done work for JPL NASA. I've done paintings.
With your connections, we could bring a whole bunch of people in who are never seen at cons.
Okay, well, maybe we can do a special thing at Loscon.
That's what
I do a lot of shows and cons around the country, and I'm one of the few guys you see still doing astronomical art at conventions.
Huh.
Right, exactly. It used to be more common.
Yep.
Yeah. There was a guy that Elaine found who did astronomical art with spray paint and a plate.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I know.
Marriott's not going to let you use spray paint in
Oh,
the
no.
hotel. I've had this issue.
That's not going to happen. But
another thing I can do when I'm down there, and I love to do this,
is freeze.
Let's call him Mr. Freeze. No.
Poor guy.
Yeah, just
yeah.
I remember a convention where they were supposed to be doing airbrush makeup on half a dozen girls as part of the program, and they wound up in my living room because the Marriott, it was a Marriott and it was in Burbank, and I lived around the corner from it. So I'm at the hotel doing sponge makeup on one cat girl, and the rest of them are in my living room with my husband, and it didn't bother me. But it was all Marriott's fault for not letting us have airbrushes.
Maybe we could use spray chalk.
The key word here is spray.
Yes.
Okay?
Chalk washes off.
That's what they don't like.
That scares them. Yeah. Definitely.
And
Yeah.
I've given Jeff some time, and yes, he's back. Okay, good.
Yeah, there's Jeff.
Yeah, I think emphasizing artists is a good angle because I don't think they get enough attention. Neither do they.
Yeah, I think maybe I'll try to get a future chair to give me an entire room for nothing but art.
I think we should put the live artists in the convention lobby. Don't hide them in a room. Put them in front of everybody.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. We watch them work.
The anime cons do that. So
Corner with an easel.
Sally.
I got an instant portraiture guy right sitting behind me.
Huh.
Yes, he's on the
Then I
other
need-
side of the convention lobby.
Then I need to
No,
run
no,
around to the
he's-
Starbucks and get all the artists at Starbucks who do all those fantastic chalkboards that I see in there.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
That's true.
I have seen more great artists in Starbucks working as a barista.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what they really want to do is direct.
Probably. My son just wanted to act. He was a barista for like 8 years.
Mm.
I told everybody he was an actor. Well, barista.
He was
They all
acting
got it.
it was a full-time improv role.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now he streams gaming. And
Is he
apparently
making
makes
any
money
money at it?
apparently.
Cool.
I spent all those years telling him you're never going to make any money playing games online, and now I have to eat my words.
He did it just to get back at you. They do that.
Probably, yeah. Actually, I don't think I told him that all that often because I thought it would have been a great idea. But the technology didn't catch up until about now.
Scott, I just can't picture him as an adult. I mean, we saw him grow up from like this tall,
I know.
and we turned around and he's like emceeing in a masquerade, and we're like, what happened to that kid, that little adorable kid?
Yeah.
He's an adult. When did that happen?
He's 30 years younger than me, and he's 32 years old.
Don't remind us of that. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I know almost all of you guys have seen. Well, maybe actually Greg's probably seen him too, and probably doesn't know. But he's been at the last 20 Loscons or 30 Loscons.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen him. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you had to have seen him. He was on stage in several masquerades, etc.
Yeah, he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
He's handsome.
Yeah.
Got good
Well,
genes.
Science fiction fandom's a generational hobby. You know, we're up to the occasional third or fourth generation
Yeah.
kicking around.
We're deep.
And he's a costumer too. He loves doing costumes. His
Yeah.
Joker was incredible.
Huh.
I wanted
Yeah.
to figure out how to do a virtual masquerade. We didn't quite pull it together in time.
Mm.
Yeah, I that actually I hadn't even thought of that. We could have.
Yeah,
I
my
think
brother
in the
emailed me
intro
last
video,
week.
I
with it.
actually cosplayed the character.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we should get people to come on Saturday to the Zoom wearing at least from the waist up. Their best from the waist up cosplay.
Right.
Oh, that would be cool.
Be good.
Even
But
if
if
it's a
I may
funny hat.
interject, if I may interject, a lot of my club promoting friends have been doing a combo of their different dance shows via Twitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Huh.
Interesting.
I seem to
That
have
might be
lost.
one way of. Twitch would be another time. We're
Yeah.
already on 2 services here. Let's
Mm,
not
I
add
see.
another one.
Well, I'm
Okay,
actually
thank
on 3
you.
or 4.
It's an idea for the future.
Yeah. Let me drop out for just a second.
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to get my video fixed. My
Oh,
mouse is
no.
dead. My
Scott,
mouse.
you put on a new computer.
Someone ordered
I
a
knew that was
cat
gonna
at
happen
his
one day.
house. Maybe we should wrap this up then because we're approaching the hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And yeah, I think an hour is long enough for this. We really didn't need to go too much longer than that.
Yeah.
We should probably wait for Greg to come back though.
That would be a good
That
trick.
would be a
wouldn't it?
great prank if he came back and we're all gone.
Hello, where
Yeah,
are you?
that-
We're gone.
Susan, can we mention the Facebook group that we're running a lot of the content? Not only are we on YouTube, but we have a Facebook that's based out of the Loscon page called Loscon 2020 Virtual Party Room Floor Fun. And we've got a lot of interactive things, the best we can do online, since normally we would be seeing you all at the Marriott. But thank you for joining us. Sorry that I didn't get this link out to as many people, but hopefully it shows up on the recording. So
Yes, I came
Face is
back.
Okay. Do you want to give us sort of an outro? No, yeah, Gregory's back, but
Okay, well, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you guys for taking time today on short notice. and I appreciate everything that you guys are doing. And hopefully in 2021, we can all be together in person.
Yes,
Absolutely.
in another year.
Sounds good.
Actually,
be there.
almost exactly a year.
We'll be there taking blood.
Yes, we'll be there taking blood
Yes.
and
Good.
passing out amazing cookies and
And
brownies.
balloonfish.
But the brownies are all mine.
And actually sitting on panels too.
Yeah.
That
It was
counts.
good to see you guys.
Yeah, it is.
Looking forward to coming down.
Yes, looking forward to seeing you and some of your fantastic art.
Thank you.
That's right. I like your work.
Thanks, Greg.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Greg.